very important issues concerning the country. You and myself are aware that in a few days, the media is full of stories now that there's homosexuality. UPND is allowing homosexuality, but we had to allow first the government to react. We saw a statement by the government. The minister spoke about it. The president spoke about it. Now we felt an independent mind again from within the party has to speak. And we wanted to just unearth one scheme that our colleagues are planning every day, because they thought as if we don't have, friends also in the PF. We also have friends there. So these friends also are giving us information on what they're in PF today, after they lost office. What are they doing now? They want to make this country ungovernable. After they've seen that there is no any other story to talk about, UPND is delivering every day. They have received more than 100 million US dollars specifically to sponsor this thing that is happening now. This is not Zambian. You and myself know very well that the country is a Christian nation, and our president stands firm. Even when we're in the opposition, he mentioned it. He says, we do not promote that. He's an elder. He's a church elder. To our colleagues, they believe in homosexuality. That's why they are sponsoring homosexuality. We wanted to make it very clear again, now and tomorrow, that President Hichilema is a church elder, married to a woman. There is no one in the UPND today that is practicing that. No. So why must we promote something that we don't do? It doesn't work out like that. Emmanuel says, no, this is one of the conditions. No, it's not true. I gave an example because their question is, why are they associating with the US with the what? The question is, if you are a Catholic and I'm SDA, SDAs, we believe that we don't eat a pig. So must we not associate because we don't eat a pig? No. We shall meet on one common ground. Maybe it's business. And we are meeting with everyone on investment and economic transformation. That is all. The country remains firm. We believe that homosexuality is not Zambian, against our constitution, against our Christian values, and it does not happen. But to our surprise today, colleagues think as if the UPND got the bailout because of this. No. But we wanted to alert the public that these colleagues are heavily sponsored. This is all sponsorship. When I say the PF is bitter, colleagues, you don't know what I mean. Let me just give you this simple thing. You want to take it. You are aware that the country was undergoing census. Census that every citizen needs to take part. You'll be shocked to know that Mr. Edgar Lungu refused to be counted. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to know that Given Lubinda refused to be counted. That's true. I challenge them to come out in the open if they allowed the boys there to go and count them. They refused. Now, if somebody who has refused to be counted on a national event like that one, what more? Don't you think it's possible that they can be engineering this thing? Very much possible. A former head of state that we can all call a statesman here, who should have led an example, even come up with an advert encouraging the PF members and others to take part, refused to be counted. I know that none of you knew. Go and tell the people that Mr. Lungu refused to be counted. Now, the question is, if he refused to be counted, what message is he sending to the PF members? The acting president again for PF again refused. So meaning it was a PF direction. That is why we saw attacks again during census. It's because these colleagues have an agenda to make this country ungovernable. They want this country, they want the UPND to fail. But again, we want to remind them to say, let them not take advantage of the president's this softness. No, because we are watching them ourselves. I've just given you one simple example of a national leader, a statesman, the only former head of state, that should have even made an advert encouraging people to be counted. And he refuses to be counted. What will stop the PF from sponsoring? This was scam. To me, it's a scam. Because they want us to fight with our friends that believe in that. Right? As we don't believe in that ourselves, our stance is very clear. The president himself has spoken about it on several forums to say we don't believe in homosexuality. We are Christians. We are a Christian nation. And we believe in the values of Christianity, which says a man shall leave the mother's house and the woman come together. That's what we believe in also in the UPND. But now, after they've seen to say, there's nothing to talk about now, okay? Because fertilizer was brought in. This is going now. And then now they're calling it a scam. There's corruption. To them, every deliverable that happens in the UPND is a scam. Because they believe UPND is not capable, but we're capable, we're delivering. After the recruitments of over 30,000 teachers, health workers, the same year, we are hearing to say they are police officers. Imagine, massive employment. Now, they've seen to say there is nothing to tell the people of Zambia, receiving $100 million specifically to take advantage of the young boys and girls in the compounds, giving them money to do those things, and then themselves, they brought it using the media. That is the whole scam, specifically to ensure that Zambians turn against the UPND government. That's what they're doing now. In case you never knew, that the whole homosexuality, I don't know how you call it, it's purely a made-up scam from the PF camp. The way they made the gassing, you remember? Gassing was there because they wanted the people of Zambia not to vote for the UPND. They started killing people, not knowing that people had already decided. People decided to say that they want change. Now, colleagues from the media, we don't want to be distracted from the developmental agenda that we are seeing today in this country. No one wants to be diverted from talking about homosexuality. Sodom and Gomorrah, these things were happening before, but we don't want them in this country. That's our message. We don't want that. They're trying to bring this thing to the media so that people must not pay attention to the new recruitments that are coming, to the opportunities, investment, to the new internet that we're going to have, which will be better. They don't want us to talk about that. Their plan is the Zambians must always be complaining of UPND, they are evil, UPND, they are what? That's their scheme. Particularly, that is the opposition that we have today in this country, that have grouped specifically to plan evil against your government. But perhaps we may say this again, that government is the people. It is not a church, it is not ourselves, it is the people. Because if the government fails, it means we have all failed. So imagine you, because you left office, still can't believe that you are gone. What do you want to do now? You want to sabotage everything. We never did that ourselves when we were in the opposition. We gave a solution, to the debts ourselves. They never listened. We come in quickly. We start to restructure it on time because we believe to say Zambia is in a hurry to develop. That's our message. Our message is very clear. They even go ahead to sponsor our own UPND youth to be fighting amongst themselves. They want to cause anarchy everywhere, taking advantage of our citizens, giving them money to be fighting so that the Zambians would see as if HH is not in control. Colleagues, these people must not take advantage of the president's softness. The president is too soft. When they expected that they will be arrested because they took him to Chimbokaela and everywhere, he has never done that to them. You know that I was one of the people first when we won who went to petition the president to take a motion quickly to remove the immunity of Mr. Rum. Because personally, I still stand and believe that that man has got a lot of things to answer before the people of Zambia. When we talk about corruption here, his economic advisor was found with colossal sums of money. Economic advisor, a civil servant. What about him? What about him? So the way these people are taking advantage of the president, we don't like it. And let them not push him very far, because if they push him very far, they may overstay their own liking. Please, I'll be honest with you. They are sponsoring these people called homosexual, whatsoever it's called, I don't know it, who went into Kanyama where we're coming from, sponsored youth to turn against us. I think United Party for National Development is a national party for everyone. That's why. But we managed to get 2.8 million votes because Zambians believes in the governance of President Hichilema. As simple as that. Why will we give jobs only to the UPND? What about Zambians that went in the morning, early in the morning, gave a protest vote? Jobs are for every citizen. Every citizen. This is why somebody's nephew, you remember here, there was one tribalist who preached tribalism. Their niece was recruited as a nurse in the copper belt. He must be ashamed because their message has been tribal, homosexual from way back, but we are proving them wrong each and every day. That is why for them an agenda is destroying this country, distorting this country, if you like. But I think to us, the focus now is how do we take advantage of the IMF bailout, the bailout that they campaigned for themselves, talked about it, saying we are going to do this when we win. The IMF never trusted these colleagues. They failed to give them a bailout in their 7 years of them being in office. UPND comes in office within 1 year, negotiated, given $1.3 billion US, stabilized the economy, expecting jobs, and then somebody's shocked. How do they handle it? They can't handle it anymore. What is next? The next thing is let us cause anarchy in the country so that Zambians must turn against the UPND government. I want to send also a message to my fellow youths, both in the UPND and other political parties, to say, let us not get distracted by the patriotic front. They are not coming back anyway. There is no history. That's why they've even failed to go to the convention, because they've got no leadership. The country blind with the same people that stole public finance. Zambians know who killed Nzamanzana. Zambians know who killed Kasongo Obe. Zambians know who killed Lawrence Banda. Do you think they would allow them again to come back? To come and do what? To come and kill more people? The answer is no. Zambians now in the UPND government are enjoying because they are able to move freely in their own country. They have seen the stability of this economy. The cost of living bit by bit is beginning to go down because of the stability of the kwacha. Now, The other burning issue, we've talked about how PF plans to make this country ungovernable for us, based on the fact that they are promoting homosexuality. They've been given money by their friends. You know that these guys still have friends and they're still cooks. Given money, a lot of money, giving it to youths. Youths are doing that. They draw it again, saying, you've seen, it is UPND doing this. It is not UPND, and UPND remains focused. We do not support. None of us will support because none of us is gay. The president, I repeat, is married to a woman we all know. I'm married to a woman. Every one of us here who is married, we're married to women because our values remains the same. Whatever PF is planning today, I want to challenge them. I want to tell them to say, we are aware. We are aware of all their plans. We are aware of the funding that they've received to promote homosexuality. We are aware that Mr. Lungu refused to be counted during census. That's not leadership. Somebody who refuses to eat home, it means they are bitter. There's something wrong. So if you and myself would ask a question to say, why would a national leader like him, man that we still have in this country, surviving, Arikana, chased away the young boys and girls that were employed to go and count? I want that news to go. Banakana room. Banakana. Manjangat, if he refused to be counted himself, why won't we think these guys are planning more? Because during census, we saw how, some guys were beaten, some even died, some, there were dogs being unleashed on them. And then their leader up there refuses to be counted. Then what is your guess? Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. The other issue, colleagues, that I want to talk about is we wanted to also remind our colleagues serving in the civil service. Of late, we've been seeing civil servants that have refused to repent. They have refused to repent. When we formed government, as members of the UPND, what was in our mind was all of them will be scrapped off of the system because a lot of them, get me very correct, a lot of them of their political affiliation. But now
50% of infertility is because of infections, typically the chlamydia and the gonorrhea.
Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Since I've been mentioned, I can react to what comment mentioned.
Yes.
I haven't finished my point.
Remember,
no, let me finish my point so that my brother can.
Does the Patriotic Front know the kind of damage they have done to our economy and to our country?
I still come back. It's the same way the MMD also is still dreaming because they still function. A culture where if you leave office as a political party, can you turn your political party into a non-governmental organization so that you can serve the country on a different level? But that's also important. It's also important. Even a cooperative, because now in the UPND, we are promoting more cooperatives. Coming back into power, there is no. That one is a clear message. And what they are doing now, they are just pushing the UPND on the corner. These are people who killed. They stop. And then they're still putting more salt again. It's not fair. It's not fair. And we call upon the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kajova, to also be alert. You realize that they're being sponsored. Instead of arresting those, let us arrest the sponsors so that we end this vice in the country. I think that was very important for us to mention. Lastly, we wanted also to react to a statement from our colleagues again in the opposition. You know, they were speaking about no, UPND is not delivering fertilizer on time. NCZ quickly started delivering fertilizer for FISI on time. After we've managed to do that again, Emmanuel Mwamba and Nixon, they stand up to say, no, there is corruption. You've seen that these guys, there's nothing good that they want. They think being in the opposition is just speaking. For the first time, this is September. In the PF, we used to see fertilizer going into the depots November, December. But today, as early as this September, fertilizer night and bako. Do you know why? Because the president is a farmer. So he understands when people need to start preparing for fertilizer. Perhaps you may want to know that the colleagues in PF, the way they were distributing fertilizer, it was very funny. Just the way they were distributing CDF, they would only take to areas that they thought they were strong. Okay? Even when they know the area is not a farming area, the land is not fertile, they will give 9 bags per person, physically. Areas where they thought, no, these are, UPND, 2 bags. Starving who? Starving the people of Zambia. But today, we're telling you that fertilizer is going to the depots on time, and people begin to collect so that they should prepare for the 2022-2023 farming season. When we've scored, they will bring up corruption. I think I want to challenge Nixon again and Emmanuel to say, if colleagues, you have proof of corruption, call me. I want to help you pursue those corrupt individuals, because we are promoting the fight against corruption. And we shall not favor anyone, whether they're coming from the UPND, for doing corruption. So I've given myself, coming from the UPND, to stand with Emmanuel and Nixon if they've got evidence of one person who was corrupt during the whole process for fertilizer. If not, if they don't bring this evidence, then we shall call it again to say they continue practicing their bitterness. When will they finish? It's now 1 year. When you divorce, the way the PF is behaving is you divorce a woman to their colleague, then she begins to throw stones on you every day. She has big stones for you. She begins to tell your new wife fake stories to say, but when you are divorced, move on. That's what we're expecting from our colleagues in the PF. The only thing that they can do, maybe, let them begin to rebrand in other political parties like Members Party. What is it called? Socialist Party? I want to end with asking also the opposition, Mr. Member, to give us his stance on homosexuality himself, because he's been quiet on this issue. He's been quiet. Eh? You've not heard him. From a fellow opposition that somebody was proposing love to them. So we challenge Mr. Membe also to quickly give us a statement on what he thought the ongoing homosexuality stories. What about it? What is the stance of his political party? Then we shall be on the safe side. Because remember that more people from the PF are joining him there. So we want to know now, because I've said PF is the one that is promoting this. If they want to deny, let them deny that they received over 100 million US dollars. Sorry, let them deny, to say we never received that money. They received that money to promote that thing. And then they begin to sponsor people. But to me, I would also want to hear, to issue a statement on homosexuality. What is the stance of his political party? Then from there, we have to connect that there are new members from the PF joining him, and what is his stance. Then from there, we'll have the answer. To us, the UPND colleagues, as we close, homosexuality is not there. And we needed to close this chapter today because Zambians would want to concentrate on a lot of things: development, opportunities, media freedom, democracy. Somebody yesterday asked me a question to say, what is your reaction to, is it Professor Rumumba, who is in the country, when he was invited under PF by the same person who was then PF Vice Provincial Youth Chairman for PF, invited against his political party, rejected him, based on they were scared that to come and spill the beans. Dr. Rumumba comes in the country under UPND for the second time, if you recall. None of us has going to interfere because we respect democracy. Let us allow people to talk, but we need proper criticism. We don't want people who just come to insult. Unless there's a question, we end here. Yes, there's a question.
Yeah, just need some clarification on the 100 million. I don't know if it's dollars or what.
$100 million.
100 million.
In the Ramazambi, there's nothing.
$100 million. Kindly help us to know the period when this money came, or if you have got an idea who the funders for this money are.
The information that we've given you, I'm pushing the people to respond so that we give more details. Because to me, I'll tell you that PF has continued to receive sponsorship to cause anarchy in the country, number one. And if they're denying, let them deny. Then we shall call again for another press conference. But now the information I've given you is they received $100 million to cause anarchy in the country like this. For own information, okay? They received it, and their plan is to ensure that they make this country ungovernable. That's what they're planning. That's their plan. It's as simple as that. So I've talked about it, and you needed to know that this is what the PF are doing. And also take the news that Mr. Edgar Lungu refused to be counted. This is important, because a former head of state who should be a national leader today, a statesman, why should he be counted? Why must he be part and parcel of the people that are encouraging members to be counted? Remember, we've got PFMPs, councillors. They need that information in their wards, in their constituencies. But now, if a national leader like him has refused to be counted, census, given Lubinda, who is the acting president of the PF, also refused to be counted during census, why should he refuse? Because he calls himself as an opposition leader. So your guess must be as good as mine, that it's because he's still bitter. Okay, he's still bitter, because if they have accepted that there's a new government in place, they would even be in the forefront encouraging their members to be counted. Census is not a UPND activity, colleagues. That was a national issue. They failed to conduct census. Census was supposed to be done, should be in 2020. Yes, 2020. But because they had to divert the money to politics, so we couldn't have census in 2020. But today, quickly, we managed to have it on time. Within 1 year of us being in office, we said we need to know how many people we have in this country. But now, our colleagues, instead of them being part and parcel of this team helping us, they are not there to assist. Rather, their former head of state, if you like, their party president, because to me, it's still the party president. The boys went there, knocked, they were thrown out. It is not us who went from the UPND. Boys, girls, youths that were employed, over 45,000 youths were employed